We have an NHL trade to discuss between the Edmonton Oilers and the Ottawa Senators involving three prospects swapping places, plus a pick. We'll discuss the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have an NHL trade to discuss. This time we have the Sens and the Oilers hooking up on some younger prospects, trading places here. We have three players and a pick in total on the move. So the Edmonton Oilers are trading Xavier Bourgault and Jake Chiasson to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for Robbie Herventi and a 2025 fourth-round pick. So essentially, the Sens get two prospects back for one and a pick. Xavier Bourgault is 21 years old right now, 6 feet, 175. He was the 22nd overall pick in 2021. He had 20 points in 55 games last year in the American Hockey League. He was considered probably, maybe not this now, but maybe a year to year and a half ago, was one of their absolute top prospects in the Oilers organization. Played his junior hockey in Shawinigan in 21-22, which would have been his last junior season there. He in Shawinigan had a dominant season, won the league championship. I remember watching him a lot. He was teammates with Maverick Bourque, who's in the Dallas Stars organization. Bourque and Bourgault both were dominant players in regular season and playoffs, helping their team win and be very successful. So I know at that point he was a very good player. Looks like his development in the AHL hasn't quite continued on the same trajectory, maybe stalled a little bit, but he's still only 21. So we'll see. Not shocked Edmonton's moving on, but at the same time, they are getting a good player in return. Jake Chiasson, however, is also a member of the 21 draft class of the Oilers. He was taken in the fourth round. He's a right winger and played in the Western Hockey League, 6'2", 185. Last year was his first year pro, and he played in the East Coast League mostly. He did play one American Hockey League game, but he started at the lower level of the East Coast League, putting up 20 points in 68 games. Now going back to the Oilers, like I said, we have a 2025 fourth round pick, so that'll be the next summer's draft, and Robbie Herventi. Herventi's a 2020 draft class, second round pick of the Senators. He has appeared in 7 NHL games so far, putting up 1 assist. Last year in the preseason, they actually looked really solid. You can't put a lot of stock in the preseason action because a lot of times players and teams are not getting the full NHL lineup. It can be difficult to kind of really dictate and kind of judge how they're going to do. But last year in the preseason, I thought Herventi was going to end up maybe getting more of a chance. But obviously, as things went on, he ended up only playing 7 NHL games last year. In the last 2 years combined, he's dealt with some injuries as well, but he's played 62 games in the American Hockey League, putting up 50 points. He had a really strong showing in the 2022 World Juniors representing his country of Finland, which I know was, for me, watching him, that was kind of one of the prime times I saw him stick out. And of course, at that point, he would have been a little bit older, 2 years after being drafted, or a year and a half after his draft, so second season. That's when you'd kind of expect players at that junior level to be more dominant. And he was, and he had a really solid tournament for the Finns. I'm a little surprised in a way that the Sens are moving Herventi. I can't say with any certainty. I wonder if there might have been a request for a trade. I don't know. But obviously, if you look at, he is a left winger, listed as a left winger online, but he has played some center as well. I know, looking at their depth charts and what they added this year at the draft, maybe I guess they might have thought maybe they wanted a different mix. I mean, he has the size that they like, but he doesn't really play to his size, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he's not an overly physical player, but we'll see. I mean, obviously Bourgault is a little bit smaller. Chiasson's got the size, but I'm not really sure that Jake Chiasson projects at this point to be an NHLer. Obviously, he's, like I said, he's still only a couple years from being drafted. Obviously has time to develop. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wouldn't bank on Chiasson getting NHL games. Bourgault, I could see being he probably wouldn't make the Sens roster, I wouldn't think, this year at a training camp, unless he really surprises. But I would think that he would be a good call-up option. So we'll see. Like I said, at the end of the day, this isn't a blockbuster deal. This is a swap of prospects, but it could be, changing scenery sometimes is good for these kids to get into a different organization with a different need and to kind of see where things go. But, if I would have predicted or projected some of the younger players in the Sens organization that would have been moved this summer, I wouldn't have picked Harventi. But like I said, maybe the new ownership, new GM, they've been in place now for just shy of a year. They had a chance to see him in the AHL, a bit of the NHL last year in the preseason, regular season. Maybe they just felt that his style wasn't fitting what they're looking for, or could have been a case of the prospect maybe after a few years now, because he's been 4 years since he's been drafted. Maybe he wants, not that Edmonton's really going to give him a better chance to get to the NHL, honestly, because they're a pretty deep lineup there. But we'll see what happens. Bourgault and Chase on for Harventi and a 4th-round pick. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.